So recently, Dookie, the #1 MapleStory streamer in the Western version of the game, got banned. Now, it's been a while since I've played MapleStory. I probably haven't played for over a year at this point, so I'm not really sure who Dookie is as a person. I know that he's a big streamer, but I haven't really been involved and know who he is. But what I do know is that the ban was so big that the company that publishes MapleStory, Nexon, went as far as to post a notice on their front page explaining why he was banned. This post reads, in this case, our investigation revealed a separate account that was engaged in heavy, unambiguous hacking activity, which was being shared through multiple players. We manually reviewed our internal logs of the account, which revealed that the primary player was Dookie. As a part of sanctions taken against the players on this account, Dookie's main account was also banned. So that's what this reads. Whether or not it actually happened, whether it's true or not, is a rabbit hole that honestly I don't really want to get myself into since I'm not really involved with this whole thing. But it really got me thinking, why would a relatively large streamer like Dookie cheat in the game? Now, whether he has a level or two above or below where he is, whether he's a little bit stronger or weaker than he currently is in the game, I don't think that really matters in terms of his viewer base, his audience. They're probably there for him as a person, him as a personality. So that really got me thinking even more. Why do people in general cheat when playing MMOs? And when I say cheat, I mean everything from hacking to botting to scamming to RMTing. It really doesn't seem to me that there's a real gain in cheating in MMOs. It's not like it's a game like Call of Duty or Valorant where everything is based on how good you are in the game. Your performance is based on how your ability is able to translate into the game. MMOs a lot of times is based off of how much time you spend on the game and how efficient you are in playing the game to further increase the power level of your character. I really don't get it. So I looked into the situation more. It seems like the hacks he was using was used to increase the spawn rate of the monsters of the map he was in. So this is huge in a game like MapleStory because increasing the spawn rate of monsters means that you get more items, more money, and most importantly, more EXP for leveling, which is really the main form of progression in MapleStory. And boy, is leveling tough in MapleStory. To give you a bit of a reference point, MapleStory Korea increased the level cap to 300 2 years ago, and to this day, the highest level in the game is 293. 2 years, and nobody is at level 300 yet. So it takes a lot of time and dedication to progress and level up in MapleStory. So taking that into perspective, it makes a bit more sense why somebody like Dookie would want to cheat in MapleStory. This game is a huge time sink, and if there's something that you can do to reduce the amount of time you need to spend in the game to get stronger, why not do it? Well, I mean, I guess it's because you get banned for it, right? Well, that actually happens less often than you would think. From what I know and what I've heard from people that I've played the game with, a lot of the people who are close to the top are actually using some form of hack or some form of cheat in the game, which isn't surprising to be honest, because they probably got there because they used those cheats. And let's even look at an example of another game, Lost Ark. That's the game that I play. At one point in the game's life cycle, over 50% of the player base was likely occupied by bots. Now, I say likely because there haven't been any official stats, but if you looked at the Steam charts, you can kind of calculate that about half the players that were online were actually bots, which is a crazy, crazy number. Saiwo has a really good video kind of breaking this down. I'll link it in the description below. So, who can blame these people for cheating? It's clearly not being addressed by the creators or the publishers of the game. So it's like the old phrase says, you're only cheating if you get caught, right? So ban the cheaters and the problem solved, right? Well, not quite. A lot of MMOs are free to play games. So No matter how many cheaters you ban, you're always able to make another account. Either that or that cheater will quit and another cheater will come in and take their place. The only way to actually solve the problem is to get to the root cause of the issue. And the issue and the reason why people choose to cheat in MMOs is because they are fundamentally designed to waste your time. And honestly, that's not necessarily a bad thing. The reason why I and probably many of you play MMOs is because of their ability to immerse the player in their beautifully designed and intricate world. I know that I'm playing a good MMO when the only thing that brings me back into reality is my mom yelling at me to get up for school the next day. MMOs are games that are designed to encourage the player to spend as much time in the game as possible. They're designed in ways to make progression difficult. They're designed in ways to make the player have to work for everything. So, why do they make a game that makes a player spend so much time to get so little? Well, for one, an MMO with more players online gives the perception that the game is thriving. You wouldn't want to play a dead MMO, right? For me, when I walk into a game, I see a town full of people jumping around, talking, joking, making emotes, dancing around. That makes me feel that the game is alive. And it makes me feel like this game is worth investing time in because there's a lot of other players. And additionally, making a player spend more time in the game also opens up the ability for the publisher to sell things for real money that can help speed up their progression, therefore allowing them to spend less time and effort to get the same result. To simply put it, the makers of MMOs purposefully make the game more inconvenient to play, so you're forced to either pay with A, too much of your time, or B, too much of your money. And that's why people cheat. Think about it this way. I'm sure a lot of you watching this used to pirate movies and games when you were a kid, but these days, you probably don't do it as much or don't do it at all. Why? Well, when you were a kid, you probably didn't have as much money to spend on movies and games. So the only way you could watch a movie or buy a game was to ask your parents to pay for it or wait for some big event like Christmas or your birthday to get these as presents. On top of that, when you got the money or the allowance to do these things, you had to find a way to get to the store or get to the movie theater to enjoy this. And if you're a cave goblin like me, you probably didn't want to go out. You probably didn't like to go out. You just wanted to stay home to play games. It was probably just a huge hassle to do any of that. So, what's changed since then? Well, for one, you probably have the money to buy games and watch movies now. But we're also in a world where games and movies are at our fingertips. All you need to do is fire up Netflix or load into Steam to easily get access to all the games and movies you would ever want. So it's currently cheaper than ever and more convenient than ever to access these things than ever before. So how does this relate to games? Well, if you want players to cheat less, then all you need to do is design a system where players are less incentivized to cheat. Design a system where cheating won't give you a significant advantage over other players because it's not worth risking the ban for a slight advantage. Kind of like with the movie or game situation where it's really not worth the extra effort to go into pirating a movie or a game when you just easily have it all at your fingertips with something like Steam or Netflix where you pay a little bit of money and you get instant access to it. Like in Lost Ark, and I apologize that I'm using Lost Ark again. It's the game that I play. It's the game that I'm involved with every day, so I know what's going on. In Lost Ark, you can buy gold from the game using real money. There's a system for that. But a lot of people end up purchasing gold from the bots that are in the game because their rates are just so much cheaper. This drives demand up for the bots to exist in the game, which further increases the problem. But if you were to make it so that gold costs less to purchase legitimately and was more competitive with what the bots were offering, then it would make it a lot less appealing to purchase from these bots. There's no reason why you would need to risk getting banned to purchase from these bots for just a little bit cheaper. Additionally, Lost Ark could just make it so that you get more materials and gold from your daily contents, or make it less expensive to upgrade your gear, or even make it so that the chance of upgrading your gear is higher. All these things can be done to make it so that the economy is a little bit better, so that we don't have to rely on purchasing gold from bots or rely less on purchasing gold from the game itself. Now, at the end of the day, yes, this will make it so that the company behind the game makes less money, but if you think about it, overall you'll have a much healthier and happier player base if you just treat them right. Additionally, if the players are buying gold from the bots anyways, why don't you just make them buy from you? I feel like they're probably losing more money by having these players buy gold from these bots instead of buying it directly from you. So it really is about finding a balance where playing the game isn't so easy that you get to max level in a day, but also not so hard where we need a cheat to keep up. I understand it's not an easy task, but I'm sure there's a lot of smart people at these companies who are probably getting paid way too much who can figure out how to do it. The only way to fix the problem is to make it so that the MMOs respect your time and also respect your wallet.